Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here or you have been here before but have not subscribed yet, please do so. Now is the time. The season is coming up, and we have some interesting tidbit of news to report today. That's right, and let's get to it right now. Also, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and drop your comments. Definitely want to hear your feelings about this because it looks like one team has dropped out of the Spider hunt. That's right. Ian Begley tweeted this out this morning. What was the morning for me? Cleveland Cavaliers have removed themselves from Donovan Mitchell trade talks per SNY sources. Doesn't seem like there are any suitors at moment who can approach what Knicks can offer Utah. Even if you take RJ Barrett off the table, so this trade is still NYK's to lose. So I love how Ian put a little pressure on the Knicks there. It's like now it's theirs to lose. Before I keep going, just want to clarify. Leon Rose does not, in my opinion, have to make a trade for Donovan Mitchell at any cost. No. Definitely bringing him to this team is going to improve the team immediately, dramatically. However, it does matter what we give up. So in terms of analyzing the actual overall benefits for the season, I'm going to have to wait and see if the trade actually happens and who's a part of it and what it actually entails. So I will hold off on that, but it will definitely make the team overall much, much better. I think it makes them easily a contender for the 6th seed for next season. All right, so let's move on to the next thing that dropped also, because Brian Windhorst, he was having a conversation with Tim McMahon on his, I think it was his podcast, and NBC Central picked it up and retweeted this. They said the Utah Jazz, this is the big news now, the Utah Jazz are motivated to make a Donovan Mitchell deal before training camp, per Brian Windhorst. Now, quote, it does sound as I talk to folks in the league that the Jazz are trying to apply the gas here. Try to juice the offer, especially juice the offer from the New York Knicks. Now, I would imagine that kind of sound. Yeah, you'll get into more detail here. Read the whole thing. Real GM Wiretap also picked it up. You can see the headline there. Jazz motivated to trade Donovan Mitchell before start of training camp. The Utah Jazz and the New York Knicks are widely expected to eventually agree to a Donovan Mitchell trade, but the two sides continued to haggle over the terms. The Jazz traded Patrick Beverley to the Los Angeles Lakers this week in what was their first major move after the Rudy Gobert trade. So, pieces are starting, the dominoes are starting to tip. I think that Patrick Beverley trade for Taylor Horton Tucker basically kind of it tipped that Danny is willing, he's definitely ready to start making moves now. So he took his time off. He tried to see if he could stimulate some better offers from other teams for Donovan Mitchell. But the problem is they haven't come up, and I'll show you something else about that. But let's keep reading this here. The Jazz are beginning their business, said Brian Windhorst on his podcast. They made their first post-Gobert move earlier this week when they traded Patrick Beverley to the Lakers. Tim McMahon, you said, I believe last week that you thought that the Jazz would make a Donovan Mitchell trade before the regular season opener. And it sounds to me, in talking to people around the league, that the Jazz want to try to go even sooner than that. Yeah, they want to go before training camp. Of course, said McMahon. The Jazz have a first-time head coach in Will Hardy, while they would like to be in the running to have the best odds in next year's draft. That's a very, very eloquently phrased. They're going to tank. They have a new coach. I mean, why shackle this new coach with all the drama and constantly being asked questions about what's going to happen with the future of Donovan Mitchell if you go into training camp with Donovan still on the squad, much less begin the season with him. It creates too much confusion, too much noise, and Danny wants to let he's a rookie coach, basically have his best opportunity to plan his team out as best as he can, and having the distraction of Donovan Mitchell around him would be just too much. And here he goes. It does sound, as I talk to folks, like I said before in the tweet, in the league, that the Jazz are trying to apply the gas here to try to juice the offer, especially juice the offer from the New York Knicks. Now, I wonder if that means that juice the offer. They just want to, basically provoke Leon to finally kick in, to give more than what he's been willing to give so far. Well, at some point, they're going to find a happy middle ground. Because here's in Danny's situation, you can see here, this is put out by The Athletic. These are some quotes pertaining to Spider Mitchell and the Jazz and the whole situation by Tony Jones, who covers the Jazz for The Athletic. He's the NBA writer for them. Mitchell can't be traded to the Nets as long as Ben Simmons is on the roster. So Tony Jones on why the Nets are an unlikely trade destination for Mitchell. The Heat simply don't have the assets that the Jazz are looking for. Again, Athletics Tony Jones. The Knicks have the assets and the Jazz have the assets that the Jazz seek, which has made them a natural potential trade partner. Well, we do have the assets. Then it comes down to whether RJ is a part of the deal. I highly doubt that RJ is part of the deal, and that may be what the juicing part of it, the juice part of it is. They're trying to say, hey, well, put it out there into the media, into the, let their sources speak for them and say, oh no, the Jazz are interested in RJ Barrett. Just to kind of get Leon to finally say, okay, we'll give you 2 of these 3, Obi, Grimes, or IQ, plus the 2 unprotected first rounders and the 4 protected first rounders. That might be where, and then of course there's Evan Fournier, who's part of the for salary purposes, and he was a good player, and who Danny can turn around and flip for probably, if Fournier gets off to a good start 3-point shooting wise, Danny could flip him. So I mean, look what he just did. He just flipped Patrick Beverley that he got from Minnesota to the Lakers. Who knows? Maybe he can do that again. I mean, the Lakers still need some outside shooting, so that could be an interesting situation for them there. Ah, man, this is exciting. This is exciting. We, I think, are incredibly close to finally having that superstar on this team. Donovan Mitchell is a superstar, in my opinion. Is he, turn you into an instant contender? No, he's not that level superstars. But really, there are very few guys like that in the league. Not even James Harden is that anymore. He's not. Look what he got traded for. So, but what he does do is create a tremendous electrifying backcourt with him and Brunson. Yes, they'll be, lacking defensively, but not as much. I think not as much as we have been fearing. I think what will happen on the offensive end will so far outweigh what's going to happen on the defensive end that this trade, this package, this team up would really turn this team, the Knicks, put them back on the trajectory that we were on at the end, unfortunately, of that first round loss to Atlanta Hawks. Remember when we felt so positive, we felt so good about this team, we felt that we were just going to keep going on an upward trajectory. Then last season was a big disappointment, and a lot of that was partly backcourt construction. Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, and the unfortunate regression of Julius Randle. Now, he's still going to be on this team, so that's still going to be an issue. And I've heard some rumblings that there might be some other teams interested in Julius Randle, trading for him, teams that need a power forward. And I will put out another video soon, hopefully this weekend, regarding that. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching this. All right, my name is George. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, follow me on Twitter there, and subscribe to this channel on YouTube. And stay tuned, because the second something breaks, I'm going to probably go live. That's right. Go live to talk about it. All right. I will see you around, hopefully very soon, the Knicks-Verse.